Hi, I am Ashley Swieter.
And I am Austin Blankman, and our project for our final STE is going to be about our servant leadership experience that we had at St. Vincent de Paul.
And just as kind of a general overview for how our presentation is going to go, we're going to introduce St. Vincent de Paul, and then we're going to talk about the history behind how it was established, the mission that they really established for themselves to fulfill for those in the community, as well as all of the social issues that they have chosen to address for those in need around them. We'll discuss how we were able to kind of be a piece in this whole puzzle. We played a role and were able to contribute for them. We'll discuss the overall project and then also the possibilities for future volunteering and how we would really like to be able to influence, I guess, the volunteering at St. Vincent de Paul in the future. So moving from there, we will switch right into the history of St. Vincent de Paul, and it's actually kind of an interesting one. Frederick O'Donovan is actually a man. When he turned 20 years old, he decided to establish and found something called the Conference of Charity, and this was in 1833, and this was actually to help the poor in the local community. He really felt a need to assist them with their needs. And later, this Conference of Charity was actually turned into and renamed the St. Vincent de Paul in order to honor the patron. And then in the United States, the first society was actually established in St. Louis, Missouri. And this was in 1845 by a man named Father Tom Timon. And actually, the first U.S. meeting for St. Vincent de Paul Society actually happened 12 years after it happened in Paris. And this was on November 20th of 1845.
All right, and then to jump in to some local history about St. Vincent de Paul. So it was originally located on 9th Street near downtown Des Moines, and then it was actually moved after that to a different location in 1970, where their current building is now located at 1426 6th Avenue, which was dedicated by Bishop Daly. The warehouse was built in 1999, and the second floor for the business office, meeting room, and social services was added in 1992. And then also on their website, and then kind of some history that they gave us when we were there as well that we included in our PowerPoint, was they did have an excessive snowfall during one of those years in 2009, actually, shortly after Christmas, and the entire roof of the building collapsed. So they had to close it down for a little bit, get everything fixed back up so they could go ahead and reopen. And they have basically been open since, and have since added some additional construction and built a center portion for the store, a literacy center, a second story, and then also an elevator connecting both, so those who are handicapped can access both levels.
All right, and then St. Vincent de Paul really established an in-depth mission statement that they really hope to accomplish with all their services. Because it is so in-depth, I'm not going to read it word for word, but just to kind of summarize it for you. They really had an awareness for all the brothers and sisters in need in their community, and they felt that having this awareness also brought them to a closer encounter with Jesus Christ. And they knew that there were millions in the communities who were suffering from poverty or other issues. And so they hoped to work together with others in the community and any volunteers they could get to really relieve that need and to find the cause behind why there are so many people suffering in the communities around them. What's really unique about St. Vincent de Paul is that they do services on a person-to-person basis. They really make it very personalized for each individual who comes in, and they actually offer many forms of help, whether this be through intervention or financial services. But their goal is to maintain the confidentiality and the dignity of anyone that they help through the community. They definitely want to help them keep a private life about what St. Vincent de Paul can do for them. And they really just want to be advocates for those who they feel are either defenseless or voiceless in the community, but who are in need. And so Austin and I really felt that the message of their mission statement was super clear. And it was just that doing these acts are holy and it brings us closer to Jesus Christ. And that is what St. Vincent de Paul has strived to do. We want to help all those that they can who are in need, and also be able to build a life and encourage a life for others that's going to be closer to Jesus Christ.
That was summed up very well. So to go into the next slide and the next point that we're going to talk about, it is about the social issues that the organization addresses. And so there's quite a bit of them actually that we came up with. So they address education, and by doing so, they, like I said, built that education center to help people who don't have GEDs be able to obtain them, as well as further their education. So I know that they said that they had a program with DMAC that they help a lot of students with, and they basically do night classes as well for the students and parents who have children to be able to let their kids go to a daycare basically there, which is the only one in Iowa. They also said that is open past hours, like past 6 p.m. But that basically allows the parents to be able to go to class after the workday and be able to obtain further education. So another thing that they also help with is unemployment, and it's definitely something that they address, and they try to be able to get people together, build resumes, and do a whole bunch of different stuff like that, interview training to prepare them to be able to get jobs after they've furthered their education, or even before if they don't choose to go down that path. They also help with affordable housing and homelessness, as well as poverty. So poverty kind of goes hand in hand with the food and water security. So when me and Ashley volunteered at the organization, we saw a lot of different companies around the metro get together and donate bread, or even like sweets and stuff from Hy-Vee and everything, to be able to address the food and water access and stuff that people don't have necessarily in Des Moines. So we also added prison reform and reentry, because that's another program that they actually just added as well. And then environmental recycling, since that's something they're very big on. So when we were doing a lot of the different stuff in the donation center, things that couldn't be used, that were stained or had little rips in them, that was all recycled. That way the materials could be used, or it was sent to third world countries where people there who didn't have access to those clothes would be able to use them. So.
All right, Austin and I actually were able to learn a lot and actually have a lot of fun through our project. Our project, like Austin said, was mainly focused in the donation center downstairs, where we had to really help keep up with all the donations that everyone in the community were bringing in. As well as upstairs, we got some time for the food and clothing pantry as well. A lot of our tasks were dealing with a lot of the incoming supplies that were brought in for us. Well, most of it was food and accessories or furniture. We actually, like you said, got to have fun with some food, and they would be tubs and tubs of food that we get to stack and bring out to the floor, which is actually part of how we got to do distribution between that and the clothing, as well as getting to tag everything and also organize it and sort it for them. And then Austin actually was able to be a part of the food pantry, where he could help administer and kind of find specific needs for those. It was over 150 people in the community. Throughout this whole process, a lot of the individuals that work or volunteer at St. Vincent de Paul really brought to our attention that we felt that what we were doing was so minor, but they always brought to our attention that it left such a great impact on the organization and the community in general. And so we really needed to understand just how important it was for us to come in just for a couple hours every couple of days and just help them out, because it made a huge difference. St. Vincent de Paul is mainly funded through the resale of items that are donated to them. And this actually helps them offer relief to those in the community. It helps them pay the wages, or be able to support, like Austin mentioned earlier, like the daycare facility, or like the educational needs. And like for those who are in desperate need with finances, they also can offer financial support for those individuals as well.
Yeah. And then, so the next slide that we were going to talk about is kind of about our overall experience, and we'll both kind of contribute to this. So we were both introduced to an environment that we were not familiar with at all, as we said, I believe in our last STE. So although I'm from the Omaha area and Ashley is from, I think you said, an hour and a half away. Is that right? Yeah. So
yeah, that's correct.
We both really weren't familiar with Des Moines and the different needs that they really had in the community. So by being able to do this, we were introduced to that. We definitely, I mean, we met a lot of different people. We learned a lot of different things. But most of all, the volunteering itself was very eye-opening. And through this, we were able to realize the need for the volunteers that that St. Vincent really needs. So not only this, but through conversation with other full-time and part-time volunteers, as well as employees, we were able to observe the actual servant leadership qualities that we learned about in class firsthand, which was also a really awesome experience and something that, as we put in the PowerPoint, we will carry with us always.
We really thought this through, and if we had the opportunity, we'd really actually like to explore more places in the community that actually are in need of volunteers, just to really be able to see and be aware of all of those in need. And doing so, we'd actually be able to help spread awareness to others about how the need for volunteering is so severe in this area around Des Moines and our school. We, like Austin said, had been super unaware, and it just, I guess, blows our minds that we had been within just a few hours of this our whole lives and we never knew. And so just thinking about how many people don't really understand that the need that individuals have for just a couple hours of their service is just crazy to us. So we'd really like to change that. We had really hoped that someday we might be able to help build connections with medical facilities, whether that's hospitals or clinics, something that could offer those in this community, I guess, cheaper and more accessible healthcare, whether that's just like general screenings or whatever their situation calls for. And we actually still hope to continue volunteering, and so we hope to keep pushing for improvements for St. Vincent de Paul. And then obviously for our future, if we could continue to keep volunteering at St. Vincent de Paul as much as we have been, we really discussed that it would be kind of fun to get to go in for the 6 days that they're open, but just at different times every day, because we really wanted to experience all the different individuals who work there and all the different tasks that they do, because each day we noticed it was kind of a rotation. We would have different things to do, different supplies to hand out, and it was just a whole different animal every single day. And so we really kind of wanted to get to experience what that would be like, I guess, on a Monday through Saturday basis. And so we really thought that that would be an interesting thing to do, because we get to witness all the internal parts of what makes St. Vincent de Paul so amazing for the community. And overall, I guess we've just really enjoyed this experience, and we just appreciate even having the opportunity to have been a part of this. Austin, do you have any more words?
I do not think I do. You summed it up really well.
Thank you so much for listening.